Hey there everyone, Nebula here. Today we're going to be speedrunning Frog Detective The Haunted Islands Beat the Game category. The timer starts when we confirm a new save file and the fade to black starts. Just a note from editing Nebs here before the run starts properly. I wrote half of the script for this video and then did another run with a faster time, so fuck me I guess. We're going to start by waiting for the phone to ring while spamming left click to answer before holding the F key to skip through all of the dialogue as fast as possible, grabbing the magnifying glass and then leaving. I forgot to add this at first, but you've got to click right click at least once before the game lets you leave the office, so remember that if you're going to run it, because I don't think it ever tells you this. Admittedly, the run is pretty simple. We go from place to place, talking to people, skipping dialogue, and then picking the right text options. So we're going to be playing in Japanese to make a few unskippable text boxes later in the game move a bit quicker. Also, if you want to run Frog Detective, you're going to want to go into GeForce Experience or whatever the AMD equivalent is to uncap the frame rate just so the text scrolls a little bit quicker. So once we're on the island, we're going to start by ignoring Mystery Monkey and running straight towards Martin. He's going to tell us that he's afraid of ghosts on the island, but we're just going to skip through all of that and select his fourth option twice, which makes him realise that he's a grown-up man who's afraid of ghosts. Just as a heads up, I'll be making up the story of the game as we go, because I don't really remember it very well. After talking to Martin, we're going to go grab the broom on his left and then go straight on to talking to Mo. We'll select his first option where he'll tell you about his crush on Mystery Monkey, and thus starting this game's yaoi subplot. Which I love, by the way. I want to see some Mystery Monkey and Mo the Mouse ship art, please. Thank you guys. Anyway, after he's done talking about his unrequited love, select his third option to close out of his window and run towards the tent on the beach. Personally, I choose to run through the trees and talk to Noodle first, but you can also grab the magnet beforehand. I don't think it really matters, and I'll put up some video testing as proof. But anyway, talk to Noodle and choose their first dialogue option twice to give them the broom that we picked up earlier in exchange for some wool. This will automatically close the text box, so if you chose to grab the magnet after, like I did, now's the time to quickly grab it on the way to Mystery Monkey. We're back in the yaoi plotline now, and now we've got to help our socially anxious King Mo ask Mystery Monkey on a date. Once you start talking to Mystery Monkey, pick the third option to ask him what dance moves would make him swoon the most. I wish I was joking about this line, but you'll see in a little bit. He says he thinks breakdancing's the most impressive dancing, silently admitting that he likes a bad boy. And don't worry, Mystery Monkey, I get it, me too. I like an emo boy with parental issues as well. Alright, now getting back on track, we've got some errands to run. So go over and talk to Koala and choose the first option to give them the magnet so that they can attach themselves to the back of a boat. Which sounds like a really fucking fun time, I can't lie. Before they go off to have all the fun alone, they'll give you a big seashell, because apparently frogs like those. And now that you've sent your koala friend off to their death, you've got to go over to Orbit and choose the second option twice. This will give them the seashell, so that he can finally start his collection and leave us alone. And now that I'm thinking about it, the Frog Detective's a really ungrateful arsehole. So now that we're done with Orbit, we've got to go break the bad news to Mo. Pick his second option to tell him that Mystery Monkey isn't into the nerdy shy guys. This obviously breaks his heart, but that's not really our problem anymore. His dialogue will automatically close, so quickly run to Fresh X and away from Mo so that you don't need to feel guilty about breaking the poor guy's heart. So conveniently enough, Fresh X is actually a pretty good licensed therapist, so we're going to go talk to him to take the load of our job off of our chest. Pick his second option twice so you can tell him about the hardships of being a detective. The heartbroken people, the sleepless nights, the brutal scenes. Alright, well maybe not that type of detective, but you know, we gotta add some sort of suspense. And after all that, he's gonna give us some antidepressants to help us through the rest of the case. I don't know about all of you, but all that therapy has made me pretty hungry, so we're gonna quickly go around the corner and try and steal Bernie's pasta. He'll tell you about how he wants to be a secret agent, so naturally we pick a second option and tell him that we'll put him on with our connections to the supervisor and get him some work. If he just lets us have that pasta. At first, he's hesitant, so pick his second option again to double down, promising that you'll put a good word in, and eventually he'll cave and give you his dinner. This puts us onto the character that I dread in every run, Larry. I know we've been kinda rushing through everything, but now's the time to slow it down a bit, because this guy does my head in. This is Larry, and he's the single most annoying character to talk to in this speedrun. And I know you might be saying, Nebby, surely he can't be that annoying. Not a single person just said that. But he is, purely because he has unskippable text, which adds a couple of seconds onto every single run. Now it's time to strap in, because we're going to be going over a little bit of a history lesson. Originally, Frog Detective only had the option to be played in English, meaning you had to sit through the entirety of every text box getting typed out letter for letter. However, in May of 2025, our favourite detective became multilingual and learned how to speak Japanese. And with each Japanese character representing a syllable rather than a single letter, can help cut small amounts of time from each unskippable text box. Now, I will throw this in here. I'm not actually sure if Japanese is faster for Frog Detective, as runs on current patch as well as the patch before Japanese got added ended up being around about a similar time with their final timings, though this could just be because of the longer localization credits in the most recent version. So there'll probably be some test footage up here as well. I'll put them on screen now. Anyway, that's the history lesson over. Back to the run. Pick his second option twice. He'll make you a stick of dynamite and blow up to the entrance of the cave, which could cause issues later down the line and maybe end up with our favourite detective landing on a no-fly list for an act of domestic terror, but that's an issue to worry about in a future game. Once we're in the cave, the run is basically over. Just hug the left wall as tight as you can and spam left click to talk to Finley as soon as possible. And after telling Finley about how Martin's a grown-up man that's afraid of ghosts, she takes us out of the cave to go have a word with him and hope that he can sort himself out. After hearing the Frog Detective being mean to Martin, the game dev Grace chimes in telling our king that being rude to people based on their fears is mean and wrong. This makes him apologise, and Martin gracefully accepts her apology, and as a celebration, we all have a dance competition. This game's really weird, even with the original context. I swear I'm not making this part up. So with the end of that segment, it's basically the end of the run. Just one choice, a few unskippable cutscenes and a dialogue box, and then we're finished. Martin's going to come back and tell us that he's ready for the competition to be held properly and that it needs a judge. We'll humbly nominate ourselves, obviously, and once the competition's done, we need to pick a winner. Don't bother trying to use your mouse here, because 9 times out of 10 you'll miss and catch a nice little 1-second time loss. So just mash the spacebar and select the first person that it highlights. Once everyone's done waving off our local Frog Detective, we'll have to talk to the supervisor again. While the screen is black, you can actually still move around, so just hold W and mash left click so that you can pick up the phone as soon as it rings. Skip through the dialogue, and then as soon as the screen turns black again, that's time. This puts this run at a 10:08, which is actually a new world record on the speedrun.com leaderboards. So just as a little send off to this video, I want to say that I love this series. There's 3 games and they're all great and pretty short. You can beat them all in one sitting if you really want to, and to be honest, I would highly recommend them. So please, if you feel like it and are able to consider supporting Grace and Thomas, you can buy the bundle on Steam for less than £15. I would also love to see some more people speedrunning this game. It's easy, there's not much to it. So please try contesting the leaderboard, it'll be awesome. Hey, me again. I just want to give a quick thank you to the Frog Detective speedrunning community for being very kind and welcoming and helping teach me the run because I'm a moron. And also to Sniff and Mara, the 2 top runners, because without their runs I probably would have been left in the fucking dark for most of this, just floundering around. So thank you. There'll be links to them in the description. Anyway, thank you for anyone who made it this far in the video. If you want more of me, I stream on Twitch. There'll be a link in the description as well as somewhere on screen. And I also have a Blue Sky account where I post random thoughts. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see everyone later.